thanks you all for being here. And we're going to have a call to order. My name is Lawrence Drone. I am the chairman of the council, and we also have Samantha Soto,
Here.
Jaime Sanchez,
Present.
Reginald Hardin,
Here.
Lisa Sarmiento, not here. And for the agenda, just so you know, we're going to have an opening for an open seat for the council, for the member and an alternate. So if anyone's interested, you can see the county for that process. But we need someone who's that fifth member for here and an alternate for the Municipal Advisory Council. And we're getting ready to do the Pledge of Allegiance. So please stand. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And now we're going to have an approval of the agenda, which was the last one. Items may be added to the agenda in accordance with section 54954.2B of the Government Code upon a determination by 2/3 vote of the members present, or if less than 2/3 of the members are present, a unanimous vote of those members present, that there is a need to take an immediate action and that the need for action come to the attention of the council after posting the agenda. So we've got the previous notes, action items, and so we need a motion to approve the agenda as published.
I move to approve today's agenda.
Okay, we have one movement. Motion, do you have a second? Okay, we have an approval for the minutes moving forward for January 15th. And we're going now to go to public comments. And with the public comments on the matters on the agenda or non-agenda items, anyone wishing to address the council on matters not on the agenda but within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council may do so at this time. Each member of the public shall have 3 minutes. The council chair has discretion to reduce speaking time to 2 minutes per speaker to ensure everyone can address the council. Under the Ralph M. Brown Act, the council may not act on any matter not on the agenda, but the council may provide a brief response or refer a matter to a staff or for follow-up. So we have a couple of public comments here that have been submitted, at least 3 of them. And hopefully everyone's submitted their public comments. And first up, we have here is Eric Carrillo.
Good evening, I'm Eric Carrillo. I've been a long-standing member of Nuevo, been part of this community all my life. My family started a trucking business here in 47 years ago, and that's the way of our life around here, and there's been discussions around about truck routes through our town, and trying to limit what we do for a living out here. And we live in an agriculture town. We all live in Nuevo for the rural life. And you guys start putting truck routes and starting to limit what we do, you're taking away from our rural life. I'm a hay hauler, and that's what we do. My family has provided this town with hay in here to feed your animals that everybody loves so much for the last 47 years. And you're gonna do these truck routes, and I understand Robinsons and all of that coming through town does make a burden on everybody. But then what does it do to us being owners? We got myself, Carrillo and Sons Trucking. You got Robbins Trucking, David Robbins. He's been a long-standing member of this town for 60 years. His family started here. And then you got Bruno's who moved in, who go above and beyond for this community more than probably anybody in this community does. And I just think everybody needs to really think about when you start hating on the trucks and trying to push us out, because hey, we are here to to help support everybody. So that's what I have to say. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. And what I can say, Eric, in the brief opportunity is that we are looking to see how we can reroute the trucks for the safety of the kids, depending on the time of day, but understanding that you do have a business and we support the local business.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Now up next, we have Tanya Gonzalez.
So first, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the Friends of the. Thank you. Good evening. So first, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Friends of the New View Library. I volunteer there. It's a nonprofit. They pretty much provide all of the programs on the library for the kiddos. And I just kind of wanted to highlight, we are going to be updating our 2018 business directory, which is for local businesses. So if anybody is interested or knows any businesses, we're going to be pretty much advertising your business on here. I think half a square is like $10, half a page is $15, and then the whole page would be $20. We're not going to make thousands off of this, but it's just a way to advertise the local businesses around here, whether you bake cakes or whether it's an actual like bigger business. So if anybody is interested, you guys can email me at tanyafguillen@gmail.com. And now taking off that volunteer hat, just speaking for myself, not the organization. I did just kind of wanted to ask a question regarding the beautification project. I had seen an update online and asked a question, and the question for the cost that was one third of the budget had been eliminated through the alliance group or something like that had been hired. So I just wanted to get clarification if that is the committee making those choices on who gets outsourced or if it's the district. When I asked a member of the committee, they said, be quiet, move forward, ask the county, and show up at the MAC meeting. And so I'm here today because even though I can't be here every MAC meeting, I drive my kid out there to Anaheim Hills for occupational therapy on Thursdays. I did skip that one today just to kind of get clarification on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. And the beautification, we'll deal with that later on in the meeting, but thank you for what you're doing. Now, the question I have is, in that book, are we able to put the Municipal Advisory Council in as a
Yeah, I'm sure
I'm
sure the
Okay.
board, I can bring it up to the board. We have a meeting every month, so I'll bring that up to them because either way, it's a good way to promote just the community being aware of these meetings.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tanya. Okay, so next up we have Greg Morris.
Good evening, MAC members. I would like to formally, I'm Greg Morris, obviously, I've lived here in Nuevo for over 30 years. I would like to formally request that the Nuevo MAC, working with District 5, organize a Future of Nuevo public strategy meeting this year. The strategy meeting would give the community of Nuevo a chance to address at least two very critical issues for Nuevo: governance and development. The driver behind both of these issues and others is growth. With the arrival of the infrastructure of electricity, water, gas, and road expansion all around us, Nuevo is poised for significant and possibly dramatic growth in the next 10 years. The topic of governance allows us to have a discussion of what entity will make decisions for Nuevo. Today's existing unincorporated model, trying to become an independent city at some point, or allowing ourselves to be annexed by one of our neighbors, Menifee, Paris, Moreno Valley, San Jacinto, or even Hemet. The topic of development is already here and will only become more critical. We recently met with Lewis Company, who showed us the updated model of their plan. It easily doubles the size of our community. There's also the Richland Company in Stone Ridge. They would like to change the existing zoning and build a 5 to 8 million square foot warehouse just west of town. I'm not bringing this up to scare people, only to suggest that if we have a strategy meeting and talk openly about these topics in a friendly atmosphere, then we won't be taken by surprise when they actually start to happen. I hope you'll consider this request. This room would be perfect for that kind of meeting. Any questions?
I would say we can ask the county about the room being used for an open, yeah, we can do that.
That'd be a great idea, please consider it.
Thank you much, Greg. That seems to be it for the public comments, and I thank you all for doing that. And next up on our action, on our approval agenda rather here is the action items, reports, and information calendar. The council and the public will receive reports and updates from staff, county departments, local agencies. All reports and information items are automatically received and filed once presented. With no action by the council anticipated, a brief public Q&A with the members of the public are asked to observe a 1-minute time limit, which may be extended by the council chair if time permits. Now, the timer is not turned on. I don't know, is it a way to turn it on? Okay. So what we need to do is keep it short, if you don't mind, because we have a couple of presentations this afternoon on the agenda, but we will give a minute. I think we have a stopwatch here for that, for a minute if we can for the question and answering. So action items, there's none here, but the department reports moving forward. Presenters must direct the report to the council at the conclusion of the presentation. Chair may allow questions that are limited to 1 minute. Each speaker must first be recognized by the chair, and first up we have Captain Lamb from the Sheriff's Office.
Good evening, Captain Lamb out of the Paris Station. Or some quick stats out here. For the month of February, we had 238 calls for service. Of those, the ones that we report to the FBI, we had 2 assaults, which were domestic violence related, 1 theft, and 2 stolen vehicles. We made 5 arrests related to 2 of them for the domestic violence, 1 for under the influence of narcotics, looks like a trespassing and a misdemeanor battery. On February 28th, we worked with CHP, Fish and Wildlife, CAL FIRE investigators for an off-road vehicle enforcement operation. During that, we towed 4 off-road vehicles, rode 8 sites. We had 2 pursuits within it and made 3 additional felony arrests from it. So that's my update for out here. Anybody have any questions for me?
Question I have is this, Captain Lamb, is what is the number of pursuits each quarter for our area? I'm noticing that some of those pursuits, they're choosing Nuevo as an escape route. So if we can get a data point of that.
For the pursuits we have for out here.
Okay,
Is that what you want?
Yes.
Just for out here?
okay.
Okay, I can work on it.
And then also, as we're looking forward, is getting a sheriff's substation in Nuevo for these situations, just so you can have another presence here as well.
Any questions?
I think that's it.
Is that realistic, having a substation here?
Um,
I mean, what's the data required, or what's the support required to get it?
having a facility, generally, if the guys are gonna be out here, we can do everything out of our cars. So they can write the reports in their cars, they can do everything, so having a place to just be at, you know, I'd rather my guys be out in the field. If the Nuevo community was a half-hour drive, 45-minute drive from the station, I would think it'd be a better idea, so then we don't have them driving back to the station for stuff. But since we're so close to the station, it's not a big deal.
I think you guys do have a facility out here, the one on Juniper Flats.
That's our Nuevo Citizens Patrol building, yeah.
But
We
that's your-
could turn that into something and use it, but yeah, that is our area.
That's your, okay,
Yes.
thank you.
What can we do as an advisory in the community to get you more support to have your deputies out here more present? Is there anything we can do on our end?
I mean, we could always push for more funding, right, for hours, because we base everything off of hours for patrol. The beats we use out here for our zones kind of go from Nuevo down to Homeland area, so they're back and forth.
The reason I ask this is we have all these developers that are trying to come into the community, right, in this district. It's probably a good idea that we can negotiate with them a part of their zone change and whatnot to get some more funding, not just one-time money, but long-term money keep deputies out here?
Yeah, so when those big, like, so probably over 10 years ago, when Villages of Avalon, is that the big,
Yeah.
when they were proposing their development, I was here as a sergeant. I had to put together a big old packet of, hey, when you guys open your community, this is the effect it's gonna have on law enforcement. You're gonna need, 20 more deputies, you're gonna need this, you're gonna need that. And we include those in their reports. So when these go before the planning commission and the board of supervisors, those are in there, of the impact we see on law enforcement. It's coming upon, the supervisors to increase the patrols in the area for each station per se.
It'd be very, oh, go ahead.
Is there a curfew on loud music, like either Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sundays? And
So-
is there permits being granted to avoid?
I haven't signed any permits out here for any large parties. You can disturb anybody's peace any time of the day. You can't disturb our peace. So, the majority of the calls that we come in anonymous. And so, we'll drive the area, we'll get out there but to push the envelope for somebody when we don't have a victim, if I'm gonna walk into a party with 3,000 people and I don't have a victim, my grounds to force that party to shut down, then it turns into a melee, and then, you've got 20 cops there, and you've got uses of forces and all this, and in the end, they're like, well, you don't even have a victim of why you're there. So, if you're gonna call it in, request contact, request to sign a private person's arrest, because you're the one making the arrest for the 415 PC noise violation. Code, we work with code as well. We show up and say it's on a large property, we can't get in, we can't identify the homeowner. We can write a little quick report, we send it over to code, and then code mails them a violation for the ordinance in the mail afterwards. Does it shut the party down that night? No, but hopefully it sends a message to the owner like, hey, if you do this, you're just gonna get these citations in the mail, so hopefully they stop doing it.
I remember years ago, they used to give you a warning, and after about the second, then they would give you a citation, and it was like $1,200 and some dollars. And then if they showed up again, you'd go up the fourth or fifth incident, and it'd be about $4,300.
Yeah, so generally when we get out there the first time, we just try to shut the music down and just handle it that way. It's kind of 50-50. Some people do it, some people don't, and then the ones that don't, when you get into like 4th of July, New Year's Eve, those people aren't going to turn their music down, unfortunately.
Understandable.
Right. But anything beyond that, like when we got to start going back, that's when the citations start getting issued. That's where we work with code and mailing. Say they're a renter, they don't care, right? But so we start hammering the homeowners or property owners on the back end with fines.
Marshall.
Captain Land, thanks for carving out the time to be here today. One thing I wanted to review with you was there's an incident a few days ago here in Nuevo. It was a repeat customer, so to speak, and I won't give like the coordinates or anything like that. But one of the things I saw on social media, Captain Land, was that a lot of people were saying, what's the status on these states, that kind of thing. So I think that Nuevo community members are not asking for privileged information and details that they're not entitled to as far as like ongoing investigations. But however, I just wanted to like just spitball and just think out loud with you about what we can do so that RSO can communicate to the community when we have an incident. And this is, by the way, it's like a fire engine from the county was also subject to, which has some ramifications. But I think what the community was really appreciate is if there was like some sort of way where community members could like get hold of like one or the department in RSO. So they say, is everything okay? Is Nuevo sick? You catch my drift?
Yeah, I mean, anybody's able to call the station. I mean, if it's Monday through Friday when the station's open, you're more than happy to call the station, request to speak with me. You can send me an email. You have my phone on me 24/7, so I'll see the email. The incident that you're probably referring to, just the subject was a warrant, barricaded himself in a trailer. Sometimes it seems like we're out there forever, because on that instance, we had to write a search warrant to get into the trailer. So now we're sitting out there for 2 hours, waiting for a judge to sign a warrant that will take us, 10 seconds to go into the trailer and get him. So sometimes a quick incident just gets prolonged. Now the helicopter's over for an hour and everybody's concerned. But you're more than welcome to call me. I do get calls from community members to clear things up once in a while, so hopefully that information gets pushed back out via your social media or whatnot.
No, 10-4, it's like, one thing is that some people were saying on social media that Star 9, RSO helicopter, we probably broke the record for maritime there. We're out the way for an hour and 45 minutes, so I'll go to.
I will say with him in custody, hopefully a lot of the mail thefts stop. So, hopefully.
As you're talking, we got to make sure we keep our comments a little bit shorter. We have Amanda out there.
It was just a comment back to him that I have had a scenario where you could call on emergency and ask, because we didn't know if we could come outside of our house after something happened, and they will tell you, yes, it's been cleared, or, so you're not getting information, but you
If it's that bad, the helicopter will say stay indoors. They will.
That's awesome. Thank you, Captain Lamb. Thank you much.
Thank you.
And next up, we have CAL FIRE, because California Highway Patrol is not going to be here tonight. It's short staffed. But we have CAL FIRE, please. Yes. Mhm. Are you Matthew?
My name's Eric Caprino.
Okay.
Not Matthew. Matthew is right over there. But I'm a station captain at the Nuevo Fire Station, Fire Station 3. So I'm one of the station captains there. Our crew's back here. There's Eric and Ivan, long-term guys in the Nuevo Valley. So I'll start. I have some statistics for both January and February for our engine. So we're engine 3, and then also for the Nuevo area, the Nuevo Mac area. For January, a couple of the total number of calls was 180, and a few of those were 30 traffic collisions, 93 medical aids, and then we had some miscellaneous calls in there. And let's see for February. So February, for just the engine of the Nuevo engine 3, we had 95 calls, 8 traffic collisions, 2 vehicle fires, and 2 structure residential fires, 69 medical aids. So that's just a little bit on our end for just our call statistics, what we kind of go to here in the valley. On a side note, it's just getting warmer, hotter, drier, so be careful when you're outside, careful of snakes and the dry brush, kind of what you're doing, limitations outside, staying hydrated. Those are the things that we're kind of working on our end. Yeah, that's kind of the gist of it for us. We do have our fire marshal that can come and talk and kind of give more stats on that end. But any questions for at least like the fire engine, fire station personnel? Nope. Okay. And then we put some brochures, just safety, defensible spacing for anybody if they would like to take one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Keep it brief for you guys.
Yes. Very important. You
Good
got it.
evening, everybody. How's everybody? My name is Matt Dingman. I'm the supervising fire marshal for our hazard reduction division. I've came out and talked to you guys a few times about our AB 38 program, things like that. Just to give you guys a brief update, we're continuing with all of our real estate inspections as always, but we are starting weed abatement. It's that time of the year. We received our fuel moistures report from the forester, and they did report back to us that things are obviously drying out. We don't have any forecasted rain in the near future, so we went ahead and began our operations. We are still working on staffing, so we are running a bit of a skeleton crew. So it may be some weeks before you see us, particularly here in Nuevo. We began our operation in what we would call the transition zone of Riverside County, which does include the Nuevo area, but right now we're kind of focusing on the Highway 74, Homeland, Romo Land area as you approach Hemet. We're taking on that as a beginning point based on that fuel moistures report that we were given by the forester. So we probably will be approaching Nuevo in about, I would say, mid to late April, I'm guessing. Hopefully sooner if we have a lot of success when it comes to recruiting. So like I said, I'm running a bit of a skeleton crew right now. So besides that, if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them. Yes, sir?
Just real quick, when you say we're getting started, it means you're letting people know you gotta cut your weed.
Exactly, yeah. We're going out, we're performing inspections on certain parcels that we have that are historically are repeat offenders, sending out notices, getting that information out to those property owners that it's time to cut those weeds.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you much,
Thank you.
man. Question I have with the county is the helipad, is that something in process as far as budgeting for our area, the helipad?
I wouldn't be able to speak on that, to be honest. I'm not really sure. Not
Okay.
really sure.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have code enforcement.
Good evening, Supervisor Jose Cruz, and also here is Supervisor Adeyemi Rangel. She's the supervisor for the special enforcement team, and she's the one that's in charge of the people who enforce all the illegal vending and the noise issues that we're having. I can answer any questions for any neighborhood enforcement concerns. Other than that, I'm open to any questions.
Any statistics or anything, what do you guys?
We don't have any statistics today. The person that usually runs it for me was out, but we will have some next time. It gives it a little bit of a gap. That way we can get some more statistics, because it seems like every time we're coming, it's kind of the same. So hopefully the ones that I will be coming with the next ones, there'll be something.
Just a quick question, so I ask this question every time, and it's a good one, I think. About from the time you report a code violation to the time it gets settled, and I know it depends on the kind of violation, it's roughly about a year.
It's different for every single case. There's really no exact timeline, because different variables. Sometimes they'll go to litigation. Sometimes the person complies faster. Sometimes there's other roadblocks that we face with whatever the violation is. So there is no exact time. What we do give is we do give the 15 days for compliance. We do give the 30 days for compliance for the specific violations. But as far as like a timeline from start to finish, it's going to be different for everything.
I just know some people say, well, they got an extension, and then it dragged on, and they got another extension, and then it dragged on.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to give some bookends to it.
So we were giving out extensions for 90 days. People would go out and they would pay $240 and some change, and they would get extensions. And then they could if they were showing improvement, we could go ahead and give a second extension for 90 days. Those days are over. There's no more extensions for 90 days. There is no second extension anymore. Now the only extension that the department is giving is a 30-day extension. So timeframes are getting smaller as far as the compliance time. So you will see a change because of the new way we're going about our business. We're not giving those, like I said, those extra 90 days or if it's 180 days, we give both extensions. Now it's a shorter compliance time with only one extension of 30 days.
Thank you.
Question, Jose, is that going to be a document given to the individuals who have those issues?
Yes. So part of the notice, when we issue a notice, We also give a fee form that has everything, how much it costs for the case to go to hearing, how much it costs for an extension, how much it costs for us to activate the fees for reinspection, for inspection, for a notice of pendency. Notice of pendency is when we tout the title because the person is not compliant.
Okay. Thank you, Officer Cruz. Question?
Supervisor Cruz, Marshall Watt, good to see you. This is anecdotal evidence, so, and I know you don't have statistics right now, so I won't hold you to it, but I think an officer with Daisy Fuentes, is that right?
Senior Officer Daisy
Yes.
Fuentes.
And so it seems like there's been an uptick of property owners who are, without permit, they're putting like storage containers more than that are allotted to put in. There seems to be an uptick of that. There also still seems to be an uptick of folks using their property as a cheap way for people to put their semi-truck trailers. Do you like talking about that as far as like what you see on your analysis that you're looking at the Morago station, about how that is in this Nuevo Lakeview area, please?
Well, you guys are an area that has a lot of acreage. Most of your properties do have a lot of acreage. And you will see that. You will see a lot of people bringing in their trucks. And normally it's something that's their livelihood, right? So they could park their trucks there if that's what they're using for their business. But once they start bringing trucks in and renting that space or making it where there's gonna be using it as a business, then they can't have that. You're gonna have that in this area because the properties are huge and people are gonna rent that. As far as the containers, there's always you're allowed to have a container, you have an acre, let's say a second container, you have 2 acres and so on, all the way up to 5 acres. And you can have 5 containers, that's all you can have. So you will see the containers out here. If we're getting properties that are having an excessive amount of containers, obviously it's a code violation and we will address them. I'm not getting a lot of information on a lot of that with the containers. It seems like everybody's pretty much following the rules of 1 acre, 1 container, 2 acres, 2 containers. But as far as the trucking, that's a problem. We are getting a lot of problems with
I'm not
that.
asking you about specific cases, but are you aware that Supervisor Cruz in the Nuevo area, are there open cases having to do with storage containers and truck trailers?
We have several for the truck, what we call it, illegal land use of a truck business, truck storage business. And as far as the containers, we have several throughout the area, but nothing really big where like people are storing a big amount of containers.
Awesome. Thank you, Officer Cruz. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Thank you.
Any
And-
questions for Supervisor Raquel?
You would have to deal with the question about noise earlier, right?
Yeah, so, like I said, I don't have any technical updates on how many citations or those numerics for you today, but I do have a few updates from the last 2 or 3 previous meetings that I have attended. I know a lot of our concerns are vending over at Lakeview and Nuevo. I just want to let you guys know that these meetings initiated these conversations with other departments that can help us enforce, right? So as code enforcement, we have very limited enforcement authority over specific things,
Can you
right?
speak into the mic, please?
Sure.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, okay.
All right. So we have began those conversations with other departments such as environmental health because they do play a huge role in the permitting of mobile food facilities, which is what we're seeing over at the intersection of Lakeview and Nuevo. With that being said, these conversations are leading towards some sort of at least a plan or future type of enforcement based on authority. Again, as code enforcement officers, we can only enforce so much. I know some of the concerns were noise, music, chairs, canopies coming from these mobile food facilities. So that is something we are looking into. We also have a vending educational flyer that'll better help both the community and our vendors determine who they need to speak to in regards to what type of permitting they need available. For example, someone who sells tacos, they must be in a mobile food facility. Someone who's going to sell packaged goods, they only need a sidewalk vending permit. So there's very different permitting depending on what type of tier. So that flyer should be ready to go hopefully by the end of the month. And we will be posting it on social media, and then obviously our officers would be handing it out over in the community. With that being said, our team of 13, which again, we work nights and weekends, We filled 2 vacancies, so you will be seeing 2 new faces. They've been on the job for about 3 weeks. We're hoping to have them trained in about another 3. In regards to the noise, so I know we asked Supervisor Cruz about like our response time. So noise, for example, that is an immediate violation, right? I can't address a noise concern in 3 days after we receive the complaint. And that is why we have a 24/7 after-hours answering service. During our hours of operation, we do have officers staged in each area, specifically here, Temecula, again, throughout the county. We have 13 bodies. That way, when we get that complaint, we initiate that response. We confirm the violation. Although we're not armed, we do mail out those citations. Our fees are pretty high. They start at $500, $750, and $1,000.
So just to be clear.
Yes.
The question earlier about, the music's loud at, 3 in the morning on Saturday. They call the sheriff, but if somebody calls anonymously, the sheriff's saying, well, there's no victims, so I can't really go in and start arresting people. What role would you play in that scenario?
That's a perfect question. So our after-hours answering service, if you call us, they give you the opportunity to do a warm transfer to the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. If you decide to do so, we get notified that you did. If you did, we'll follow up with the deputy's dispatcher, and we'll get the report from them. Again, we work hand in hand with the Sheriff's Department, so we get the report, and off of that, we will issue the citation.
Is there a number, I know there is, after hours number we can say tonight?
Yes, and I did leave a stack of cards over here at the table, but it'll be the same code enforcement number that we have. It automatically transfers.
Thank you.
And that is all I have for today.
Excellent.
Thank
you
you.
much. All righty, we have EMD next.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Eric Ramirez, Emergency Services Coordinator for EMD, Emergency Management Department for the county. I do have some preparedness tips for this month. March is recognized as a Severe Weather Preparedness Month. It is a timely reminder that Riverside County can experience heavy rain, flooding, and strong winds, even in the snow in the mountains. In addition to these seasonal hazards, Riverside County is also facing increasingly high temperatures, making heat safety and preparedness just as important. In the month of February, Riverside County experienced 3 rainstorms affecting multiple areas of our county. While no major widespread damages were reported, these storms serve a reminder as changing weather conditions can create hazardous situation. So to stay connected, you could sign up for emergency alerts at rivcoready.org/alert-rivco. And we had minimal incidents for the month of February. We had one, it was a magnitude 3.6 earthquake near Banyan. EMD made notifications to local officials and partnering agencies for situational awarenesses. No damages or impacts were reported for the county. That's the end of my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Okay, now we have transportation.
Good afternoon, Chair and council members. Hector Davila, Transportation Deputy Director. Just a few updates on a couple upcoming projects that we plan to deliver by maybe sometime in the summer, beginning of fall. But there's 10th Street road resurfacing, Contour Avenue road resurfacing, and Gibson Avenue road resurfacing. 10th will go from Wilskill to Reservoir Avenue, and Contour will go from 11th Street to Hanson Avenue. Nuevo Road, or Gibson will go from Nuevo Road to 11th Street Avenue. And those will all be combined as we did last time with the group of projects coming out for road resurfacing. Aside of that, we'll have the Pico Avenue reconstruction road resurfacing from Alice to San Jacinto, which will probably come out toward the end of the year. So hopefully by the next council meeting, I'll have an update on that one. In addition to that, we have the Lakeview beautification. That's still on our project delivery list. I think last time I gave an update here at this meeting, and we are currently working on the external voting process, whether it's going to be here in person or online, but we're still working on those details. and hopefully by this next meeting, we'll have that all either completed or conducted or finalized at that next meeting. So just the hopes with that. Since our last meeting as well, we actually completed 3 surfacing projects, which is Foothill from Nuevo to Orange, Lemon Avenue from Dunlap to Foothill, and Sunset Avenue from Dunlap to Foothill as well. And we also, I think Debbie Lane's sign was brought up the last meeting as well, and we've since have installed that sign up as requested by the community. Going back to the beautification before I forget, yes, Lone Star Alliance was on board initially about, I think they started November, December 2024, 2025, they shortly came in at the beginning of the year to help with the surveys, the kind of door-to-door, the face-to-face, and the outreach with coordination on that. I think about a year ago now, they were let go, the county took over, and we kind of followed up with the final voting details and surveys, and kind of presented that at the last meeting with the last 2 options to be selected for the monumentation and beautification. With that, let me double check here, I think that's all I have. Any questions?
Yeah, I think the question that Tanya had, she had about the beautification.
At that point, moving forward, will the county be making decisions as far as how to make those decisions? Just because I think they ended up getting like 25 results, so if we do the 250,000 by 25, that's like 10,000 a charge of the head for getting their, the answers and stuff.
Correct, the county, what they're taking over, we'll take that off that.
Then at that point, over the time, we can reduce from that budget that we have that 500,000, or will that 500,000 go into the
No, the remaining funds will go into the remaining beautification project. Correct. And I think the total allotment was 500,000 at that point.
But then ultimately, maybe no longer.
Correct. And the rest of that budget will go into.
Yeah, excuse me, hold this for a moment, we need to turn the mic, it just clicked off for a reason. And because of the air conditioning, we gotta speak up a little bit louder. Thank you.
So back to the question, yes, that remaining budget will go into the completion of that project, and that'll include the monumentation signs and such. And the county's taking over that, so North Star Alliance is no longer on part of the team, and we've taken over since then.
I guess last year's who would have made that decision to hire this? Was that county or was that me?
That's a good question. I wasn't involved with that, but I know we had used them in the past as well at the Cabazon area. So it's kind of.
Maybe I can help. I'm on the beautification committee, as is Queen Kelly.
Perfect.
And I know, I was trying to tell you, the county made the decision to hire North Star Alliance. The beautification committee did not make that decision.
That wasn't the
And
response.
Crystal can validate that.
Correct. The beautification committee was to come up with ideas, suggestions and such. We would take a look at that, and we provided guidance in that whole process, and then we solicited that information, and then we came out with the surveys and the voting and such, and that's kind of how we are here today. And hopefully, eventually, we'll see some signs out there by the end of the year.
Big
Yes.
question, yes, back there.
North Alliance with the contracting service that did the initial surveys? What's the name of the company?
Yeah, North Star Alliance.
North Star, how did they end up with the contract?
How-
What was the bidding process for that?
I'd have to look into, find out. I think, like I said, we've used them in other contracts. I don't know how it was solicited at that time, but.
But for a contract of 250,000, I mean, that's obviously above normal funds, right? And 10,000 usually capped on the internal level, so you could go through a pre-bidding process. You know,
Well, once
with
again,
other companies.
I don't think a lot of those details are known. He was not on it then.
Yeah, well, we're requesting them.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably dig in and try to find out. I
The
know
time-
North Star Alliance was working with Cabazon, and I think that's how they slid into.
But to Tanya's point, of 250,000 for 25 at 10,000 a head, we wanna know 250,000, was that a proper use of?
Hey, no
It-
argument,
just from
no
the-
argument, but take it up to the supervisor of District 5.
Typically-
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Well, it's okay.
I wanna bring it to the max.
Yes, and we shall,
And you guys can follow up
We shall do that. We shall do that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you much, Ms. Queen.
I have a question for you, Hector. Hector, right?
Queenie, she's gonna go first, and I'll have him come. Okay, go ahead.
Ladies first.
Okay, the original intent of the beautification committee was to have a liaison for the town, so other people aren't making decisions for our town. So my question is that still intact, or what are we doing with the beautification committee?
And we're still on it, Queen Kelly. It's you, me, and Jennifer French, working with Hector and Dennis Acuna.
Okay, so with whatever signs you're talking about, I know you brought them here to the last meeting, but I don't remember saying anything after that. Did I miss something?
Maybe, I wasn't at last meeting either.
So what we can do
No.
is, we can speak about this after the meeting, because we know there has to be some type of a process for the picking of the alliance, whatever it is for the beautification. So we know there's a process for us, we need to go ahead and
Yeah,
dig in.
we should move on. There's two
Yeah.
issues. One is the money issue that should be dealt with.
Correct.
and
Yes,
other
the
one is how do we put it
beautification
in the next
committee
step?
is still ongoing. There's still a process. It's nothing that we can do from 1 month and then 2 months have an answer. We are still working on it. It's not being left out in the, we're not forgetting it. So we are still currently working on it with Greg. We're in constant communication with Greg and transportation. It's just not on the agenda today. That was it.
Yeah, it's still moving forward. Like I said, it's part of our project delivery list, and that is one of our projects for this year to deliver.
Thank you much. Can you?
It's not about the no.
Okay.
You mentioned there's people resurfacing.
Correct.
And so there is a trench for Eastern Municipal Water District right on land and so some people really live there. That's the only gift they have, and as long as they have the trench on hand, they have that is the trench. Are you guys working with them to make sure that there is still no like dip coming out?
Are you talking about from their line placement, their trenching and stuff? Okay, yeah. Well, usually they'll do all the work and then they'll come back and final cap the roadway section.
The whole road is kind of like a little bit back, I can see that there's roads on it, but you can tell it's like constant, like little just paper on there, but there's
Okay.
also a paving.
And this is on Pico?
Yeah.
Okay. We check, they should be under permit and we can look into that.
All right, I got a question for you, Hector.
Yes, go ahead.
So my question is in regards to,
Oh, sorry.
it turns off when I'm talking to you. So my question to you is, with regards to Skanska's construction going on the One Expressway. Do you have a construction schedule you can present to us, a timeline, when they're starting to do certain stages of the project? They should have presented that already, correct?
We actually have them here today to present. It was requested last time, so we have the whole project team here from RCTC to the contractor and the construction manager. And they will go over the schedule here in a little bit with their presentation. But yeah, they're here.
So you'll be able to hand out a schedule to us at least, right? Did you bring a schedule with you?
It's on the presentation.
I believe it's on the presentation, but I'm sure they can give you well, they do have a baseline schedule, which I'm sure it's pretty elaborate, but overall, the schedule they'll provide today will kind of give you a milestone or stage look ahead on the next 2 years, 3 years of construction.
That's what I'm looking for, the big one you're talking about. They should have presented that already to you, and I would like to see that.
And with that, we're gonna have, we had a couple of presentations, so we have to keep the questions brief. So we have one for RCTC, and then we have another one from West and Associates. So the comments, we have to not LinkedIn, but cut them out for now. And we'll do that afterwards.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thanks, Hector.
Thank you, Hector. We can talk about after. And next up, we have Animal Services.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Damian Cruz. I am the manager at the San Jacinto location. So I do have a couple stats from our field division. From February up to today, it looks like they had 90 activities that were called in, and it equaled out to 247 responses from the field team. With that, there was 2 sites, 17 impounds, and that's what I have from the field team as far as stat-wise. I did want to go over our current adoption event that we are having this Saturday, which is March 21st. at all 3 of our main shelter locations, Riverside, Coachella Valley, and San Jacinto. We're gonna be staying open from 10 a.m. till midnight, in hopes of really moving a lot of our large breed dogs that we are continuing to experience severe overcrowding. I did leave some flyers over there in the back of the table. And with that, that's all I have.
Thank you much.
Any questions?
When you say 17 impounds, is that per pet, is that per party that had?
So that's 17 total animals. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up, we have Planning Department. John Hildebrand.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. John Hildebrand, Planning Director for the county. Other than being ridiculously hot today, not a whole lot of new things to report on. I do want to make a comment on the truck routes that the gentleman brought up back here, kind of what's going on there briefly. Assembly Bill 98, AB 98, is a state requirement that now obligates every city and county throughout California to establish a truck route, to establish where the truck routes are going through the general plan process. Our region, the Inland Empire, San Bernardino and Riverside County, and many of the cities on the western side specifically were called out in the bill as a warehouse concentration region, which obligates us to do this truck routing faster than everybody else has to do. There's 2 parts to the bill. One part is, again, establishing the truck routes through your respective jurisdictions, your city or county. Our transportation department of the county is taking lead on that. We're wrapping up the first iteration of our truck routes, and now we're going to be doing some community engagement and outreach over the next couple of months. I will coordinate an upcoming meeting with the district offices and Transportation Department Planning to do a presentation for this group here at some point when we're ready to roll that out. Imagine trying to put together a county-wide truck route and coordinate that with all of the cities within that county. It's a very expensive and challenging process, but we are working on it. We're working closely with the state to make sure we meet those milestones and we have a product that is deliverable at some point in the future. I do want to emphasize that the truck route, what's the purpose of it is designed to really keep trucks off the residential areas, educate the truck drivers where the truck routes are supposed to go to make them more efficient and not impact the residential communities. It does not restrict trucks from making deliveries, right? If you have a legitimate delivery in a residential area for a commercial shop that's there or a business that's there, you're allowed to make that delivery. If you have a legitimate business that's established in an area that's not necessarily right on the truck route, you are allowed to continue operating that business. You just got to get your trucks as quick as possible to those established truck routes. So while there are some restrictions, or will be some restrictions, it doesn't impact necessarily existing businesses or deliveries to and from where they need to go. So I'll make that clear. So we'll have a presentation and more details on that moving forward. The other item on what the bill did is establish some general regulations for siting of industrial developments, setbacks from sensitive uses, orientation of things, and some pretty prescriptive regulations on industrial. So the state has taken over industrial development, which obligated, again, all the cities and counties to take on those new rules and then integrate them into their review process when new industrial developments are being proposed. And so we've done that through our good neighbor policy. We're doing that through our ordinance. Many of those regulations we were already doing. We were already looking at the most efficient way to get in and out of the properties, how to site trucks in the loading bays away from residential areas. And so many of the prescriptive regulations we already had under good neighbor policy we were already doing before that came out. So there's always room for refinement, there's always room for doing a better job, and we'll continue doing the best job we can as a county when industrial developments come down. That's all I have.
Thank you, John.
All right, questions? Free to ask. All right, anything? No questions?
You're looking at.
I'm looking at the program, yes. Okay. All right, I'm gonna take it as a
Thank
win.
you much,
Thank you very
John.
much.
And I like your shoes.
Thank you.
Stylish. All right. And now we're going to now go to our staff reports from the Supervisor Gutierrez's office. District 5 update from Crystal Reza.
Hey everyone, good evening. Crystal Reza, Legislative Assistant for Supervisor Edson Gutierrez. I just have 2 quick updates for everyone. We are hosting our very first song concert. I left some flyers out back. If you guys are familiar with the band Santana, we did partner with their lead singer, Andy Vargas, and with local high schools of the district and some students of high schools were taught various instruments and various ways to get music, and we are having a concert, and it's free. I did leave the flyers out back that have a QR code, just so you guys can get your free ticket. That is this Saturday at 5 p.m., I believe. Doors open, I believe, at 4 o'clock, and everyone is more than welcome to join us. We're gonna be, the whole office will be there, and we're just thrilled for that. And another great one that we're hosting here in District 5 is a free health clinic. So anyone that's part of District 5, this is gonna be April 25th and 26th. The services included are gonna be oral cleanings, fillings, and non-surgical extractions. We're also gonna do vision exams with the free prescription glasses, general vitals check, and much more. That's gonna be at Vista del Lago High School. That flyer is also out back. If you guys do follow Supervisor on social media, we are gonna be sending out the QR code on how to register for that pretty soon. That just wasn't available yet to have on the flyer today, but I just wanted to get it on y'all's radar, so you guys can attend. So, you know, it's April 25th, 26th, Saturday and Sunday, and we just look forward to having everyone there, and that's pretty much our update from our office. Thank you.
Sounds good, thank you much.
Thank you.
And next up, we have Senator Sabrina Cervantes' office, Adonis Galarza, Toledo, update.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the MAC community. Excited to be here on behalf of Senator Sabrina Cervantes, representing the 31st Senate District. I just wanted to announce that the legislative deadline has passed. The Senator has submitted her legislative package. We are finalizing final details, so I am excited to get those details done and be able to announce our legislative package to you all. Additionally, this Saturday, April 25th, we are hosting, in partnership with California Highway Patrol, El Protector, and Blue Zones, a Day of the Child Wellness and Safety Fair. It will be hosted in the Mead Valley Community Center in Paris, or Mead Valley. We will have, you know, an event centered around health, wellness, and safety resources. CHP will doing car seat checks, hydration station, and many activities for kids. So make sure to RSVP. I did leave some flyers behind, English and Spanish on both sides. So I look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you, and is there any questions?
So
Yes.
When you said you're putting together a list of bills that she'll be sponsoring, and you'll be able to tell us about that at the next trip?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
Adonis, do any of those bills include budgeting for law enforcement and fire emergencies?
I don't have those details. And the reason is because our capital offices are our capital office or team is the one that works directly on those bills, and once those bills are finalized, then we get that information.
Gotcha, okay.
Seeing none, I hope you have a good rest of your evening, and I will see you in 2 months.
Thank you, Adonis.
Thank you.
And next up, we have a presentation from RCTC. And please speak into the mic, as you know the air conditioning's heavy.
Is this good?
Yes, yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, sounds great. So thank you very much for having us here at the Nuevo Mac meeting. My name is Joy Edlis Yanez, and I'm with RCTC, the Senior Capital Projects Manager assigned to the Mid-County Parkway Ramona Expressway Construction Contract 3 project, which is MCP3. I'm joined here by my team. We're going to have my other team members here presenting. It's going to be Ariel Alpon Tapia, which is our public outreach manager, and then Kurt Pegg, who is our resident engineer, and he's with CHA, the construction manager. Next, please. And for today, I'm going to be starting off with the project overview, the scope, the schedule, and then I'm going to be passing it over to Kurt for the staging, planned closures, detours, and then finally wrapping us up, we have Ariel with public outreach. And then we'll go into a Q&A, and on top of my team here, I'm also supported with our design engineer of record, Alicia with Jacobs, and then Brian Adams, who is with Skanska, who is the contractor. So we'll be ready for any questions that you guys may have. And with that, before I go into the MCP3 project, I wanted to just let you guys know that this Mid-County Parkway is actually a 16-mile corridor, and it spans from 215 in the west and then the 79 freeway to the east. This project is broken up into 4 segments. MCP1, which you see there in blue, has already been constructed. MCP2 in red is a future segment. MCP3 is the one that we're going to be talking about today, which is going into construction. And MCP4 is the one in orange, also another future segment. Next, please. As far as the MCP3 project scope, it's hard for me to see. It spans to the west, it's approximately 1 mile east of Ryder Street to the west. And then to the east, it's going to be concluding on Warren Road. So it's about 8.6 miles total. And in its existing condition, I'm sure you guys are all aware, it's 1 lane in each direction. So at the end of the day, our project is going to be adding 2 new eastbound lanes, restriping existing 2 lanes to westbound. So basically the existing 2 lanes that you see here is going to be just for the westbound. And then we're going to be adding 2 new eastbound lanes to the south of that. We're going to be installing a raised median, a new bridge over the San Jacinto River, a wildlife crossing. We're going to be modifying existing traffic signals at Lakeview, Hanson, and Bridge, and then we're going to be constructing a brand new traffic signal at 5th Street. Next, please. As far as the schedule, just to go over, last year we basically advertised in July. We awarded the construction contract to Skanska in December. And just 3 weeks ago from today, we issued the notice to proceed to Skanska, which is basically the construction start. And the first 55 days are just an administrative period where they provide all of the submittals. So the actual construction, there's going to be maybe some light construction, but the bulk of it is really going to start around April 20th.
Can you back off the mic just a hair?
Oh, sorry. I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing it. And then, as far as the construction completion, it's going to be in 2028. It's about a 2.5-year construction project duration. Next, please. And then I'll be handing it over to Kurt to talk about the staging plan.
Hey, hello everybody, good evening. So with the staging plan, we're going to have 3 different stages in this project. And this kind of outlines some of the bigger components of it on that general map. You'll see the 2 yellow components are bridges on the project. The one over the San Jacinto River is a major structure. It has 4 frames, 3 hinges, it's 2,200 feet long. So that ultimately is the critical path of the project, and you'll see that going on for a couple of years. So the project kind of runs through it. But stage 1, if you want to go to the next slide. Right here you can see stage 1 is everything on the south side of the existing lanes. So you'll see a piece of K-rail, I believe we showed that in the diagram, and then the shaded portion is where the work area is. So the project will be in this stage for the better part of over a year. And really, you know, it's kind of a unique project because most of the times when you're building a construction project, it gets painful before it gets better. You know, people are like, gosh, they're changing the striping around again, the lanes are narrower, you know, we can't make our regular movements. But this project's unique because you're gonna be really driving on the road that you're driving on today for the next year, better than a year, while we do all the work on the south side of that barrier. So ultimately, when it moves into stage 2, the cars and trucks will run on the new pavement, and we'll start working on the outside. But those stages are a lot shorter than the stage 1. You know, a lot of work is going to go on in stage 1. Obviously, those are the 2 new eastbound lanes that are going to be constructed. What happens with the old westbound lanes, or the existing lanes now, where you have 1 lane in each direction, those become the new westbound lanes. We'll remove the crown, and that roadway will get super elevated, so it's all on 1 plane. And then the cars will run on that direction. Ultimately, there's a raised median, like Joy mentioned, that will be constructed in between those lanes. And if you wanted to see kind of what that looked like, I think it's been constructed already on 74 freeway through Romoland. So down by Warren Street, that median exists today, so you can see what it looks like. next. So planned closures, there will be some night closures to, we have to take out the existing rumble strip and pave that back in, and then they'll begin to set K-rail. That's gonna take the better part of about 3 weeks, and it'll start towards the end of April and go into May. So once that K-rail's set along that outside right edge, that's gonna be it for closures for the better part of the year. So ultimately, there are some closures to do at intersections. We rebuild the intersections, and those closures will be closely coordinated with the businesses and the residences in those specific areas to make sure that they're aware of how to get around that closure. We usually do those closures on a weekend. We would start Friday night, finish Sunday morning, typically, something like that. So those are a little painful, but they're over fast, and really they're one of
Yeah, so what you're saying is there won't be any closures other than these 55-hour closures, so there'll be 3 of them.
I think there's a total of 8 of them in our schedule.
Okay.
But they're down the road. We have to get Edison facilities in there to power up the new signals and things like that. So there's a long lead item to things.
So on a daily basis, traffic will be flowing pretty regularly.
Just like it is today. Unlike, I will tell you, we're very fortunate on this project to come in with a team that's been working together for the last better part of 10 years. We did the 60 project through the Badlands. Everybody's familiar with that stretch, the new white pavement through there. So that was this exact same team. We did the 7191 in Corona, that big interchange, and we're just finishing that, coming off of that to come here. So, really a unique opportunity with the same agency, the same contractor, and the same management team.
So why the need for a detour then if the closures are going to be so minimized?
Well, there are going to be 3 weeks of closures coming up, so.
And that's the 55-hour.
That's not the 55-hour. Those closures happen between 10 o'clock at night and 5 in the morning. So they just come in when most people are sleeping and set that K-rail. And the plan is right now not to shut the entire road down, but just to shut the eastbound lane down and work on it.
Have you seen the traffic on the One Expressway at 5 a.m.? 4 a.m.?
Well, see, I just came out of Corona on the 91. It takes 45 minutes to get through there. So yeah, I'm familiar.
It goes back to what I asked earlier about the construction schedule. That's the schedule I'm asking for, the detailed schedule.
Yep.
So not just this little, we're closed from this day to this day. I would like the detailed schedule.
Yep.
Scanty and present it to you guys after you're ready to proceed.
I think we'd all like to see that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what as a member up here, that's what I'm requesting, is I can share it with the community. There's a lot of community members that are asking for those dates, and they don't know that that construction schedule exists. And it does. You guys have been presented with that, and I would like to see.
So it's not approved yet, so.
Well, but it's been
that's why-
presented, it's been presented.
Yeah, and that schedule that you're talking about doesn't really have lane closures in it. It has a lot of detail.
Well, it has goals where you want to be at certain timeframes.
Sure,
The
yeah.
timeline.
And like everybody in this room probably knows, construction is variable. It has changes, weather, things happen. Yeah. So I think our plan, and Joy will back this up, is to give people as much notice as we possibly can when those closures are coming up. It's 2 to 3 weeks notice so that people know that's gonna happen.
Well, once you get that schedule approved, I would love a copy of it. please.
Okay, sure.
Amanda?
So this that they shared tonight,
Yes.
isn't actually accurate? That's not what's really happening?
I think it's accurate.
According to the gentleman, it's not approved yet.
We just have a,
So the 55 hours is approved?
no, that's, like I said, probably better part of a year away. So as it gets closer, but there is a 55-hour duration approved. I just can't tell you it's gonna happen on July.
Okay, so the 55 hours is approved, and the rest of it is not. So at this moment, this is accurate.
So the other closures that are approved, but just not the date, is the 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. But we need to pin the date down exactly before we put it out to the public. Say it's gonna happen on Thursday night, 2
I guess
weeks
it just
from now.
seems deceiving for the public, because we're like, well, we'll all be sleeping, except for Heinen. We'll be driving there at 5 a.m. Yeah, but, I'm joking, my husband knows it. But there will be times that we have to take a detour because the actual road will be closed.
If you're out there
Between 10 and 5. 10 p.m. to 5
till
a.m.
5 in the morning.
And also, the dates for the
Can you come to the mic, please? Thank you.
The dates for the closures and the 55-hour closures have yet to be determined, but we will give ample notice. We're just giving you an example of what kind of closures we're having. The exact dates we don't have today, but we'll make sure to keep the community well informed.
And
And
Samantha.
just to circle back to that question, I don't want you to think that I'm upset about this project whatsoever. I'm excited. I've been here all my life. I am very excited. I just want to give that information the community has been asking me, and I don't have nothing to give them. And then you present something and you say it's not approved yet, but it is approved, so that's where the confusion comes in with the community. And I get you. I know how construction works, but just when you guys do have that approved schedule, if you can present it to us, it would be great. Just to get rid of peace of mind, you know. Thank you.
Yes, and there was Samantha.
Marshall, it shuts off every time one of us turns it on.
I have a question, and I've actually been waiting to ask this question. So,
Mike, please.
the
Yeah.
the wildlife crossing that you guys are proposing, okay. So from what I understand, that's going to go under the road, correct?
The animals.
The animal crossing?
The animals go under the road.
But I mean, that's gonna be down below, it's not gonna be above like a
Right,
bridge,
yeah,
it's gonna
no,
go under.
yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Alicia, but you're not even gonna notice it really.
No,
It's
I'm happy about that, I don't have a problem with the animal crossing. My question is, how are you guys going to control a flooding issue in that animal crossing during rainy seasons? Because my fear is that now we're going to, it's obviously gonna be there for the safety of the animals, but if that's flooded out, they're gonna be forced to go across the road, so that's my question.
Yes, that's built into the design, and Alicia, maybe you can say a little bit about that, and some ledges.
I was gonna,
well, there's some ledges, but there's also some berms at the openings of each side of the crossing, and then roadside ditches along. So the crossing itself is always meant to stay dry, except for a high flood event. So it will be sloped to where it'll stay in the middle. There's ledges on the side for dry crossings, but for the most part, the crossing itself is supposed to remain dry.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you much. And thank you much. And yes, Jaime, we will get the final design.
I think we have one more slide, maybe that just showed some of the line of detours during a closure. And I think for the people that live here, they're pretty obvious as to which ones would be selected. They're gonna utilize the 79 and 74. So we have gotten a lot of questions about, well, do you realize they're doing construction on the 74 as well? Yeah, we do, and because of the projects that we're coming off of, we deal a lot with Caltrans, their LCS, which is their lane control system, or TMC, which is their traffic maintenance, and we coordinate all our closures with those people, so we'll know when they're doing their stuff over there, and we'll be talking with their resident engineers. You can imagine the coordination we had in Corona with all the work that was going on there, so we had 4 different contracts talking on a group call every week about the closures and what they were doing to make sure they worked close together. So, yeah, a lot of experience. Too much. I mean, when I start talking about how much I have, I feel older.
You know what's amazing about that? I drive the 71 Corona a while, in years, but to see all that transition, this team actually should be applauded because it definitely works out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was an extremely successful project. And we expect to do another one right here.
Good stuff.
All right, public outreach. So we know that this community is unique. We know we've heard a lot of the conversations about, the detours, having ample notification, making sure that as much notice is given to the public in different methods. And similar to what Kurt mentioned, that we do have a lot of resources or tools in order to get the information out to the public. At RCTC, we know that this project itself is very important to the community, but we know that the impacts are also, when there are closures, are very stressful. So one of the things we do often with these types of projects is that when we do get the closure notifications, or when we get a notice that we're gonna have so many closures at night, we do send out construction alerts. We send them out via email. However, we've actually also set up recently microsite so that it will have, the closure information will be very detailed. So let's say we're closing an eastbound lane from 10 to 5 a.m. We will have that specific closure details on the website, and as well as an email to everybody who signed up for the email. So we do have some cards, postcards at the table where you could sign up for those email notifications, or you could just come up to me, or we have Yvonne Lamb here. She's also part of our public affairs team. And we also, we're the ones that we send out the notifications along with our other consultant teams. One thing for this project too is that we set up a text messaging alert system. So if you do opt in to get these alerts, so if we send out an email with the construction notification with all the detailed tables of closures, you will also get a text message with a link going directly to that alert. We know that also there's more traditional ways to get the word out here in a community, or any community actually. So we're open to ideas. Tanya, your idea about maybe advertising in the book. I mean, we'll talk to you. But that would be a way to get the community to sign up. We could send out flyers or brochures to the different libraries and community centers so that they know what the project is and also how to sign up for construction updates. We are going to also set up, where we have set up a hotline where if you do have a question, if you have a complaint, we are going to have that hotline, leave a message, and we'll get back to you like within 48 business hours. And so we strive to be as responsive as possible, especially if something is going on in the community. And then we have also partnered with the wayfinding apps, Waze, Google Maps, and so they do usually post these types of information on the apps. But we also have some contacts over there where we give them the heads up if something is coming up. So we're using our slew of tools to get the community out here, get the information out. And as soon as we get those information from the schedule, we will make sure to communicate that with the public. But again, we're also looking for ideas. We know the community pretty well, but you guys know the community well. So if you think we should go to an event or provide a presentation about the project, please let us know. We're open for that too. So, thank you.
One question. Yes.
Okay, pertaining to your guys' closures, which in my business, I'm a hay hauler. I haul into all the dairies along with my expressway. And I also have friends that they haul the milk out of, which is Vermeer Trucking. How do you guys deal with us coming into the dairies, especially the milk trucks, in the evening, because that's what the time they run? How do they get back and forth to the dairies to get the milk out? Because no matter what, that milk has to go, daily.
So if there's a driveway that we're gonna be impacting, they're allowed 24-hour access. So they're still gonna be able to go through. There will be like flagger there so that they'll have 24 access regardless.
Okay, you guys won't be doing full closures, like where we have to go out to 74 to go around at all, or?
I mean, as far as to drop K-rail, yes. There will be, yes, but.
Okay, so how does that deal with, pertaining mainly to the milk trucks coming in and out of the areas?
But if I'm not mistaken, Kurt, it drops down. There's a way like it could drop down to one lane.
We're gonna
right?
try and do the K rail from just one lane.
Okay.
To keep that westbound lane open.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say you might have to do the detour around the 7964, but you always be able to get in and out of the area.
Okay.
It's one of our requirements to have access to
Okay.
And that goes too for when we have to rebuild their driveways. So, we'll be meeting with each individual area and making sure that we have a plan that they agree with. And we should be able to get that work done in time.
Okay.
It might be a little intervening with like shavings or whatever, we'll have to meet with each one and discuss them.
One more question.
Is there a plan within the plan to have like additional lighting or reflectors throughout the?
Lighting, as far as lighting, just at the intersections, is that correct, Alicia?
Yeah, there'll be intersection safety lighting, and then there'll be lighting for the bridge. But because of wildlife and everything else, they don't like a lot of extra light to,
Disrupt the.
to be off the pavement, so we'll be directed on the.
Any other questions? Ms. Marshall?
One more question, two more questions.
Hey,
Joy. Can you speak a little bit about what the concerns, I think the Nuevo community is, they're aware that this is going to be disruptive and people who, like Heidi was saying, 5 o'clock in the morning, so on. So there's gonna be disruption, there's gonna be disruption and so on. But I think what the Nuevo community is mostly concerned about is avoiding tragedy. And the concern is that there are gonna be these instances where we're gonna have those complete closures and truckers and other people are gonna want to find some way to get through somehow. And so the concern is that we're gonna be traveling on Nuevo surface streets, Lakeview Avenue, Hanson Avenue, Nuevo Road, and so on. Now, originally, it was my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, is that there wasn't a resource allocation for CHP enforcement, but now I've been informed that there has been resource allocation. Can you speak to that, please?
Yes. So CHP we will be calling them out to do enforcement, and anytime we have a closure, they're going to be the ones who we're going to be coordinating with. So they'll be out.
What I'm really asking is that a line item on your budget for your full budget?
It is, yes.
There's a line item for CHP for enforcement for this.
For COZEB, yes. That is
Right.
correct.
Correct me if I'm wrong, that enforcement is to protect the construction workers and actual lane closure, not in the community, correct?
I wouldn't, I wish they were here to speak on that.
At the meeting we had a meeting with these guys earlier, and they said CHP has specific budget to enforce traffic violations in Nuevo during these closures.
I guess what I'm getting at is that CHP officer that will be posted at the closure with his lights running. He will be there to make sure that the lane closure for Skanska is safe. What the gentleman's asking is, will be any budget for a CHP officer to be here in town to get anybody that's, oh my God, I'm late, I'm gonna go 100 miles an hour to town.
Just to answer that question, because we were at the meeting with them, the CHP officer spoke up and said, yes, we have a budget to do traffic violation enforcement in Nuevo. You tell them.
That's not what she was saying, that's why I was asking the questions specifically.
Yes, I can't speak for them, but that was what we discussed in that meeting, and they were there. Any other questions?
I don't think that question was funny, I'm sorry.
Okay. I can inquire with CHP?
That's fine.
No, we should, well, I know it's been answered, but as long as we can hear it in the community that they will be monitoring the
That is
community,
correct.
not just having the car sitting at the actual construction site. And we can know that one of them is going to be inside the community to enforce those onlookers that drive off and do their own thing.
Okay. When we engage with them, that'll be something that we bring up to make sure there's coverage for that.
That's good, thank you. And Tanya, do you have a question? Say me. Can we hear that a little bit? Can we hear what was discussed just there this moment? Can you please just give us a little bit more clarity?
Oh, it was just a comment, as far as the concrete submittal, most of the times for the roads, we have to hit like 5,000 PSI. So if they could look into a mix of aqua admixture in there, just because we had a water tank where we had to hit the 5,000 PSI, and by the end of the 28-day testing, we were at 9,000 PSI, which will allow to have longer durability, just because most of the times the funds get put into starting it, but not necessarily maintaining the roads. And since this is going to be looking like an industrial corridor, essentially, we would like to get the best of the best for when you start it, because after that, then funding kind of fades out.
Wow, we learned something tonight. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you. Yes, we can certainly look into that. I mean, we're going to be going according to the specs. That's the minimum requirement. But maybe, Ryan, do you have any feedback on that right now? I know that's not approved yet, but.
Yeah, so the roadway itself is all asphalt. So that is a flexible pavement that is not made out of concrete. It's aggregate and oils, and it's meant to move and be flexible. The bridges, however, are concrete and there's varying strengths depending on the element of the bridge. And there is such thing as too hard of concrete. Sometimes you want some flexibility. So our foundations, our bridge decks, the wearing surfaces, they have different mixes. The superstructures have different mix designs. They've been building bridges forever, so they have the mixes down to the science. But yeah, the roadway itself will be in asphalt.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you much.
Thank you very much.
And next up we have Web Associates. Paris.
Good evening, council members and chair. My name is Ferris Hall, representing the property owner who was trying to be here tonight, so I hope everything's okay. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. We are here to present the Riverside Ranch project. I'm part of the project team, and I have my colleague Sarah in the audience as well. She's our engineer, so we'll be here to answer any questions afterward. So we're here to walk you through what we're proposing, listen to your feedback, and make sure this project reflects the values of the surrounding community. We know that people choose to live here because it has a strong sense of identity, and our goal is to design the neighborhood so that it fits into that character. Next slide, please. There we go. So I just want to get everyone oriented to where the project is located. It is a 67-acre property on one parcel. It's located north of Mapes Road, south of Vista, east of Sherman, and west of Antelope. So the city of Paris is just to the west, and city of Menifee just to the south. The area is predominantly rural, semi-rural, large lot homes, open land, and some growing residential development and infrastructure. Next slide, please. So I want to start with probably the most important point. This is general planned medium density residential. So the county general plan designates the site for 2 to 5 homes per acre. We are only proposing 2.65 homes per acre. So we are proposing well below the midpoint and far below the maximum allowed. That means we're not asking to increase density, and we're not pushing the limits of what is currently allowed. We're designing a neighborhood that is low intensity and fully consistent with the county plan for this area. And I know that traffic is often a big concern. So at 2.65 dwelling units per acre, that's going to generate significantly fewer trips than what the general plan assumed when it planned for the 5 dwelling units per acre. This project is proposing to build at a level that is significantly lower and would result in an overall less impactful project. Next slide, please. So the lot sizes range from 7,200 square feet to 17,000 square feet. So it's echoing nearby larger lot neighborhoods and reinforcing some semi-rural character with a mix of lot sizes. There's a significant amount of open green space provided with drainage corridors designed to provide landscape buffering as much as possible, reducing the visual and functional impacts and improving compatibility with the existing development. The community will offer a mix of lot sizes with larger than what is typical of a suburban subdivision, ample setbacks from the lower density larger lots, and transition buffering to the existing homes on the north and east, which are larger lot homes. It's a traditional neighborhood pattern, spacious, quiet, and visually consistent with the surrounding area. The project also preserves more open space than a typical subdivision and creates amenities at no cost to the taxpayers. So the project will construct some public improvements, including trail extensions along Vista on the north side and Antelope on the east side to promote regional connectivity. This project will also connect the trail on Antelope that will be constructed by another project to the south. Drainage channels will be constructed with this project along Vista on the north and along Antelope on the east, which will pick up the existing storm water that comes from off-site on the east side, and it'll put it into a channel to convey it through the property to the west, and it would help improve the longstanding neighborhood drainage and flooding issues in the adjacent streets. The project will also be responsible for roadway upgrades on all three of the project frontage streets, Sherman, Vista, and Antelope. The street upgrades will include pavement, curb gutter and sidewalks, parkway improvements and landscaping, and right turn pockets where required. Trails, drainage solutions, and circulation improvements will provide shared benefits to the nearby residents. This project will also include a community park. Our park concept is a welcoming ranch inspired by classic ranch elements. It features, may include wood textures and rope details, rustic shade structures, and seating crafted from natural materials such as timber benches and stone accents. At the center, there's a broad open lawn which serves as the park's pasture, flexible green area for picnics, casual play, and neighborhood events. Next slide. This project goes back quite some time. I've been working on it since 2017 when we were looking at it to get the racetrack approved as a commercial use under a conditional use permit and having temporary events, but there were some substantial challenges and costs associated with remaining a racetrack, and so it was ultimately cost prohibitive. So in 2019, we did shift gears and it became a residential project, which included a tentative track map, a tentative parcel map for financing purposes, and consistency zoning to be consistent with the approved general plans of medium density residential. Since 2019, we've had to overcome some major challenges, which the site faces significant off-site flooding and is very flat naturally, both of which create challenging drainage conditions and make the overall design pretty complex. To address these issues, the project requires imported soil, high-cost infrastructure, and ongoing long-term maintenance with multiple maintenance entities. And there are fewer homes planned on the site, so those costs are spread across a smaller number of lots. So one of the options to offset the cost would have been to increase density, to reduce lot sizes, and try to maintain a higher lot count. However, the property owner, the family, has elected not to do that and has instead chosen to preserve the character and quality of the community by reducing the total number of lots rather than shifting to a smaller, denser product. And that leads us to where we are today. Next slide, please. So we're currently processing the tentative map, parcel map, and change of zone to bring the zoning into consistency with the general plan. For those who may not be familiar with the county's process, the general plan is the primary guiding document, and our project is fully consistent with that plan. However, the existing zoning is not consistent with the general plan, so we're requesting a consistency zoning change. We're in our fourth submittal, which is currently in county review. The CEQA studies have been prepared and completed and are in review, so not approved yet. And the environmental document is now in review with the county as well. Our goal would be to begin the public hearing process late summer of 2026. We appreciate your time tonight. We've really tried to create a neighborhood that fits and that respects the surrounding community and that delivers the kind of quality that people are looking for and is responsible and compatible and community oriented. Thank you, and we're here for questions.
So, it's not, your plan isn't to, part of a larger plan to extend Antelope Grove North, was it?
No.
So you guys are just doing some enhancements?
It would be doing the project frontage, and the traffic study's not completely done yet. This traffic study is unique in that it's being reviewed by 4 different agencies, which include City of Paris, City of Menifee, County of Riverside, and Caltrans. So it's been a process to address all their comments. So it's not done yet, but we will be mitigating all of our impacts as approved by all 4 agencies.
Thank you.
What's interesting about it is realizing if it's on the edge of Nuevo as far as the distance from it's not here in town, it's on the outskirts. So between Paris and Nuevo, there's a defining line of where that boundary is, correct?
Yeah, it's probably gonna have more impacts to the City of Paris and Menifee, mostly Paris.
Marshall.
Hi. A couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, a developer brought in hundreds of thousands of yards of material to build their paths for residential homes. And it turned out that some Nuevo residents, they made some phone calls, they got a hold of Riverside County Transportation, and they found out that the subcontractor that was working for the developer had not pulled the proper permit, so the director for Riverside County Transportation shut them down. I'm bringing that up because the hope is that whoever the subs, the dirt haulers, the double trailer clamshell folks are gonna cross their T's and dot their I's, and of course, the developer is going to be overseeing that very closely so that everything, all the paperwork is being done and all the permits have been pulled. I'm not gonna ask you about how many cubic yards it's gonna be or where they're getting it from, but that's fairly disruptive for people when you see those types of vehicles on the road, and they need the rumble trails and all that kind of stuff, to go in and out of the property, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just respectfully asking to just get that on your radar screen, share that with the people who have associated with the developer, the contractor, the subs, so that nothing unintended happens.
Yes, understood. We have seen that happen where people are not familiar with the process and don't get the permits, and we often have to help them through that. So we are very familiar.
This contractor and this developer knew very well what they needed to do, and they tried to save some money.
Understood.
And to be very clear, there's no developer attached to the project yet.
Correct. Yeah, there's no home builder that has been identified at this point.
Who's supplying the services? That'd be like Eastern Municipal, water, sewer.
I'll have Sarah come up here and talk about the engineering.
Yeah, so,
Water to the impact of Nuevo water.
yeah, to serve the site is gonna be EMWD. They're right next door.
Right.
So, sewer and water will be both served by EMWD. There are facilities within the frontage for the most part, but this project will be responsible for, extending a sewer line and water lines in, Sherman, connecting from the development that went in a few years back up to, Vista.
Question. Okay.
Is this what's the zip code for this piece of property? Menifee, is it Paris? Who's it belong to?
It's unincorporated County of Riverside. I would have to double check the zip code for you.
Well, I understand it's unincorporated county, but I don't know what is that?
Romoland.
Romoland.
Is it still Romoland or is it Menifee?
City of.
Last I checked, it was.
We have to determine
But that's a
that.
good question. I mean, sometimes mine shows up in 2
This
different places.
particular property borders the city of Paris, city of Menifee, and county of Riverside. So it's really unique. It's literally a little corner.
Is this the old horse ranch?
So it's still, it's the old Swallowfish Ranch, the horse ranch.
Old Horse Ranch.
It's right, it's so, if you ask the community, it's considered mobile.
With Pulte, no.
Question?
No, they haven't been involved in this project.
What was the question? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
The question was if Pulte Homes. is
Pulte,
involved
okay,
with the project.
gotcha.
Generally speaking, there have been a few home builders that have come inquiring about the project, but no one is committed to the project at this time. So as Ferris mentioned, the current property owners, we're working with them to entertain any questions for home builders, just to find a way to.
Pulte's doing all of, Nuevo Road, Evans, and all of that, right?
Yeah, right next door, I believe, is Pacific Communities that is, they did one of the developments along Mapes and Sherman, and they're continuing a second development right now that's Antelope and Mapes. So we'll connect with their improvements along those roads.
I don't know if you guys got details far enough there, single-story home, two-story home.
It'll probably end up being a mix.
Without a home builder on board, we don't have the detailed architecture yet. They will have to submit the final, site development plan for review that would be subject to all the county design guidelines.
We got one question in the back. What's the zoning?
Residential would be R1.
Can you repeat the question that we couldn't hear?
The question was what school district?
Okay.
So this property is penciled for, Lomoland and Paris Union school districts.
That's all the questions.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Webb and Associates, thank you. And next up, so we have 7:42, we have council member reports and comments. Council members may report on meetings with members of the public, county department staff, local agency staff, and/or provide items of interest to the public, and council members also may request that items be placed on a future agenda for consideration and possible action. I'm going to start to my far right, Jaime.
At this time, I have nothing to add or comment. Thank you.
Thank you.
everyone.
Samantha? Reggie? Okay, well, I have a couple things. Let me just say this before we close out, is I'm appreciative of RCTC having the email and text messages, having that option. That's a good thing for us because of, of course, traffic. And also recognizing that there should be or can be a way of increasing a budget, possibly through our Senator Sabrina Cervantes' office or Assemblyman Jackson's office, of how we can increase a budget for law enforcement and CAL FIRE for our area. And also want to get a understanding of when the helipad will be put into a budget for our area because of the fire season that we're coming upon. That was something I think we were told about a year or two ago that we need to really look at. And also, as it was mentioned with Captain Lamb, we have that building that is the code enforcement, but the officers' citizen patrol building that could be used as a substation if that could be looked at. Anyway, the citizen control building. So that's one thing. And then as I'm looking at my notes, being mindful that the closures are going to be between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. and recognizing it impacts the dairy companies there on Ramona Parkway. And also, let me see, what do I have here? Other than that, I'm just grateful for everyone being here and for all the participation and giving your input. Our voices are very important. As you can see, we have many questions coming up for activity, and thankful for you being here as the citizens of Nuevo that care about your community. And also want to also remind you of this, there is room for a volunteer to be a part of this municipal advisory council. We need one more person as a member and also an alternate. So just be mindful that it's an appointed position, it's not paid, it's volunteer, but your voice and your background of your resume could be useful for the team that we have here. I want to say thank you for being here. If there's anything else, all right. Yes.
I don't think I mentioned tonight, but the follow-up on the monument for the old fire station being.
Oh, yes, actually, there was a follow-up with the monument, and a gentleman here could actually give us the follow-up with that.
We were contacted by Thomas Ketchum with Riverside Fire, through the board of supervisors, they approved everything, they made some suggestions, and we just are in the process of finalizing those suggestions and see if we move them. But it sounds like it was very successful, and I appreciate the board for helping.
Awesome. We're making progress. Awesome, awesome. Let me see, time is 7:45, and that's it for the meeting. The meeting's adjourned, and thank you for being here. Drive home safe.
Thanks, Lawrence.
Thank you.